Today, we are here to answer the question, do I or don't I take this seriously? And this seriously could be an illness. It could be something that's going on in your life that you're wondering, do I really need to do anything about this? So I'm going to give you 5 tips about the sequence of illness or a diagnosis. Plus, in this video post, there is a link to 10 ways to manage unexpected changes positively. So make sure that you check out the link in this video. So let's say that you have a diagnosis, and it could be something like something small, relatively small, high cholesterol, high blood pressure. And the doctor has talked to you about this, and now you have identified that it is a problem. It's up to you to figure out what to do with the problem. Do I or don't I take this seriously? Many people, when they have a diagnosis that they hear about, they think back. And it's kind of like looking back at a timeline to say, well, I have high blood pressure or I have high cholesterol. How did this happen? Did this happen in the past year? Or have I not been to the doctor in 5 years and this happened over 5 years? Did my eating habits change? Did I gain weight? Do I not have a good diet? What gave me this diagnosis of high cholesterol or high blood pressure? So then we start to look for causes. Well, what is the cause? And then we think of, or we should think of, and this is up to us because the doctors, they are not going to talk to you about this. They don't get paid for prevention. So you have a diagnosis. Now what you want to think about is the consequences of the diagnosis. If I have high cholesterol, what does that look like today if I do nothing? What happens in a year if I do nothing? Will all of the arteries around my heart get so clogged that physical activity becomes difficult, that I get out of breath, that I start to have circulation issues in other parts of my body, that my brain starts to be affected? What will happen as the result of this diagnosis or this illness? Again, consequences are up to you. You have to ask questions of your doctor. You have to be that proactive patient because your doctor isn't going to say, Mary, John, if you don't deal with your high cholesterol, these are the 10 bad things that can happen. What do you want to do? Do you want to try to address this without medication? Or do you want to take a pill and just keep continuing all of those bad habits? Again, the question, do I or don't I take this seriously? I'm going to relate this to myself in a different issue. So I live here in Colorado. It has been snowing like crazy these past few days. And earlier this year, I was out shoveling and I had a fall. And I jammed my right elbow, which jammed my right shoulder. So I went to the orthopedic doc and I'm like, man, I can't move my arm because I exercise. So I can't do the weights. I can't do everything that I have been doing. And he said, well, let's x-ray it, make sure you didn't break it. We can always do an MRI to see if you have some kind of a tear that will require surgery. But in the meantime, how about strengthening your shoulder? So he gave me one of these things. How many of you have seen these exercise bands? No matter what age you are, never underestimate the ability of this little band to strengthen your body parts. Now, I could have chose not to do the exercises he gave me for both my shoulders, but I did. Simple exercises like this and like this that hurt like the banshee when I started to do them. But I'll tell you, we had a snow here in Denver on Friday, closed down I-70. I live in a remote part of town where we got over a foot of snow. Had I not been doing these little exercises, I would not have been able to shovel snow, to lift the snow, to run the snowplow so that I could possibly get out of my neighborhood because the plows don't make it up to where my house is. So when you think about, do I or don't I take this seriously, and think about the consequences, would you rather ignore a small problem today that can be fixed by a change in diet, a little bit of exercise, so that in a year or 5 years, you are so totally disabled by this condition that you're miserable? I lived this with my mother, who died over 20 years ago with her heart disease and all of the illnesses that she had. And because of that, today I am a caregiving expert. My website, PamelaDWilson.com, has a lot of helpful information for people. I do videos, I teach courses at corporations for working caregivers. I do a lot of things, and seeing my mom's life made me take my health and my well-being very seriously. So ask yourself, do I or don't I want to take this little thing in my life seriously? And if I do, what am I willing to do about it? What are the consequences of not doing anything? You can change your life, you can change your daily life, and the ability that you have to take care of yourself. I'm Pamela D. Wilson. My website is PamelaDWilson.com. Check out the link in this video post to an article and get out and do some exercise today. I'll see you tomorrow in another video.